Hi. Okay. So I was thinking back to when we talked about the most important relationships in our lives and how we relate to them. My most important relationships that I wrote down were my family, my friends, my teachers, um, music, sexuality and my sexual identity, learning, and Judaism. Today I specifically want to focus on Judaism because when we read the Fromm packets, having and being in daily experience, I was really impacted by the faith section. So that's what I'm going to talk about. Um, Obviously, I looked at this section through more of a religious lens. So I want to preface this by saying that I don't mean to disrespect any religious beliefs or lack thereof. Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty personal, but throughout my entire life, I've kind of struggled with my own religious faith. I identify as Jewish, but more culturally Jewish than religiously Jewish. And this was like a really big part of how I was raised, I would say. I was raised Reform. My dad was Orthodox when he was a kid, and my mom converted to Judaism before I was born. But we've mostly just gone by like the culture rather than the religion. I always say that I agree and live by the morals of Judaism, but I struggle with some of the religious parts. And Fromm talks in or writes in this packet about the difference between having faith and being faithful or being in the faith mode, or being in the mode of faith. And it was kind of hard for me at first, and honestly, it still kind of is for me to fully understand what being in the mode of faith actually means. I think I've always pictured faith as something that you either have or you just don't have it. And especially when I was little or younger, I just didn't have it, I thought. My views have changed a lot over time, but when I was younger, specifically like in middle school, it's kind of funny actually. I like identified and everyone called me the Jutheist, like the Jewish atheist. And I pretty much only had one mindset, which was actually shown in two quotes I found in this packet. One of them is faith in the having mode is a crutch for those who want to be certain, those who want an answer to life without daring to search for it themselves. And the other one is faith in the having mode is the possession of an answer for which one has no rational proof. And these two quotes really impacted me and hit me like literally so hard because it pretty much was an embodiment of exactly what I was thinking, like the epitome of my thoughts for years. For some reason, I almost pictured faith as a weakness. To me, it was like this blindness, like if you had it, you couldn't see what was actually going on in the world. And it was weird because I had this internal conflict where I like truly believed this, but I wanted so badly to be able to have more faith. I thought it would make my life easier and that I would have less stress, because I was under the impression that like any bad things in the world or my own consequences, it wouldn't be my fault anymore. Through religion, they would be placed on some higher power through prayer or confession or whatever type of thing, like outlet you would use. And that responsibility would be completely lifted from me. As of right now, my only version of having faith would be things like my superstitions, like things that almost correlate with like the tiny touch of OCD that I have, like knocking on wood or crossing two fingers and one toe, or stepping over the same line on the sidewalk whenever I come to one with the same foot. But these are things that like, or more like habit, and that I just haven't been able to get rid of. But I think overall I've always been in more of a in faith mode, or like in more of a being in faith mode rather than a having faith mode. I'm in faith towards myself. I'm in faith towards my friends and my families and my coworkers. I'm in faith towards other people, but not only that, I am in faith towards some religious things. I just don't have faith. By this, I mean, like, I can't use my faith to take the weight off of myself in bad situations, or relieve myself, or have this sort of release from all evils in the world. I'm just in more of a being faith mode where I can use that to, I guess, help myself rather than relieve myself. Does that make sense?